Hello and welcome to the Google Digital Garage. My name is Daryl and I'm a trainer for the free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. A little bit about myself before we go ahead and get started. I come from an incredibly diverse background within sales, recruitment, hospitality, learning and development, and of course within tech. But I dedicate the majority of my time to help close the digital skills gap that is so prevalent in our world today through amazing initiatives just like this one and many, many others. But I'm not here alone. We're very, very fortunate to have Tessa with us here today, and she'll be moderating today's chat. If you're viewing us through a laptop or a desktop, you'll be able to identify Tessa just on the far right-hand side, and she'll have a little blue spanner next to her name. And she looks forward to any hellos, any comments, any queries, any emojis. And myself and Tessa, we love engagement. So feel free to pop in questions, queries, whatever's on your mind. There's no such thing as a silly question, and you've all entered a completely non-judgmental environment. I've already seen one hello from Sadiq. Big welcome to you. Pretty sure you've been to a few of the other sessions, and I'm really, really happy to welcome you back to today's session about using social media stories to grow your online reach. Before we actually get into the actual content, there's a couple of housekeeping tips, should we say. First and foremost, if you're having any problems hearing me or seeing me today, please go ahead and refresh your browser. It normally irons out any potential problems. Next up, we'd love you to get involved with the chat. If you haven't done so already, please go and say hi, pop in your favorite emoji, let us know where you're tuning in from, let us know what you'd like to learn today, what you're looking to get out of today's session. In order for you to get involved with today's chat, you would be required to have a YouTube account. Relatively easy to get set up. Once you're all set up, you'll be able to fire over those questions to myself and Tessa. And as I've said it probably the third time now, we love questions, we love queries, because that's what makes these sessions come alive. Next up, if you'd like to be a part of I suppose, 10 other sessions, this particular live training is part of a broader offering from the Google Digital Garage. So I hugely encourage you to click in the link in the description below. It'll take you to the website and give you a plethora of information, online courses, and many, many more live webinars very similar to this one. The very last housekeeping tip is if you'd like to have the closed captions, in other words, the subtitles for this particular live training, all you'll need to do is hover over the window with your mouse if you're on a laptop or a desktop. Then go in the bottom on the right-hand side of the video when you'll see a little cog, look like a gear cog. Once you tap onto that, you'll be able to tap onto a CC option, in other words, a triangle that says CC, stands for closed captions, and you'll be able to have the English subtitles for today's session, so you'll be able to follow along, because I tend to speak rather fast. I'll do my best to slow down, but the words may be able to help you to digest the information just a little bit more easier. Now, in this particular session, well, this is a 15-minute session, so it is jam-packed with lots of information. So sit tight, get your pen and pad ready to go, or whatever other device you have to take down those notes, but not too many other tabs going on, because I'd like to have your undivided attention for the next 12 minutes, which is very, very quick. So we're going to jump into what are we going to be discussing over the next session, which is going to be understand how stories can help your business. Next up is then how do we then create a story? Couple of hellos so far. We've got Sadiq calling in from OZ, UK. Big welcome to you and a big welcome back to yourself. We've got Anna from Latvia. Wow, we have a little bit of an international audience today. Big welcome to yourself, Anna. We've got Tariku from Ethiopia. That is amazing, fantastic. And we've got Tariku as well, who said hello to you. So please feel free to maintain that for the next 12 minutes or so. And if you have any questions, pop it into the chat. We will do our very best to answer them. If not, we'll signpost you to the right point. Then we got another one from, we got Kay calling in, Vanessa from Hong Kong. Big welcome to you all the way from Hong Kong. I'm not sure what time it is for you right now. And then we got Sarah calling in from Turkey. I've been to Hong Kong, love Hong Kong. I've been to Turkey, I love Turkey. I haven't been to Ethiopia, it's definitely on my bucket list. And I've been close to Latvia, not at Latvia. So big welcome to all of you, the still global audience today. So number one, we're going to look at how stories can help your business. That's the main focus. Before we jump into stories, let's jump into, well, Daryl, what is a story? Well, social media stories can be found across a number of platforms, including Instagram, Facebook. They even trialed it on LinkedIn for a little while. It's no longer there. They're short form content that usually expires within 24 minutes. They share multiple snapshots for videos of the day. It could be branded content. It could appear in a slideshow. It can appear in many forms or fashions. But the idea behind this, if we know it's only up for 24 hours, what you can see on screen right now is an example of a couple of those stories. And I don't know about you, but they're quite captivating. and especially the one on the far right, where we see someone topping up milk into a coffee cup. As simple as that, but it's catching my eye. I don't know if it's catching yours, but it keeps catching my eye because I can see that. And this is what it comes down to: attention spans. And it comes down to our social media. To think about, why should we create stories? What is stories going to do for us as a business? Well, let's jump up behind a couple of statistics. That's 50 million. Sorry, 50 million. Let's add a little zero onto that 50. 500 million people use stories every day. So that's according to Facebook, across Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. 70% of Gen Zs and 59% of millennials regularly watch stories on Instagram. As attention spans decrease, stories become more and more popular as they deliver short, snappy information to customers and followers. The average human attention span is close to 8 seconds. Some even say 3 seconds. And if we now start thinking about TikTok, for example, your attention span may even go down to 2 seconds. Our attention spans are so bad that I forgot what was I saying. What was I saying? No, I'm just kidding. But when it comes to attention spans, because we are currently on a social media platform, you're all watching us on YouTube live, which is a social media platform. And I may or may not have already lost your attention within the time that we've been delivering this. So it's incredibly important to understand that our attention spans are low, but what these stories can do is captivate your audience just for those few short sentences that allows them to feel engrossed in the content that you've provided, to hopefully lead to a sale or a conversion or a contact or getting someone to the actual physical location. So the benefits of using social media stories is it builds trust. Why does it build trust? Because stories are based off the stories of your life right now or your business right now. Next up, encourages interaction. When you put yourself out there, regardless if you're a sole trader, you're a freelancer, or you're a business, when you put yourself out there, it's going to be a higher chance that somebody will see those particular stories and respond accordingly by liking it or commenting on it. And that's really what we want to do as a business. Digitally, we want to start creating that two-way conversation. Next up, we want to stay relevant. Of course, stories is the new, I wouldn't say new, it's something that's been around for quite some time, but it seems to be the go-to in terms of getting yourself out there quickly and having those 24-hour stories up and available. Next up, be visible. Why would we be visible? Because I'm not sure if you've noticed, when you jump into social media, there'll be a whole lot of posts that you can scroll through. You'll grab your phone and you'll scroll and you'll scroll and you'll scroll. However, if you jump onto your Instagram right now, there'll be a whole lot of circles right at the top of your profile, which is going to be your followers that have posted their own stories. So as soon as you get onto the platform, you can essentially click onto that circle, which is essentially going to be the profile, which is going to take them to their story, and you instantly get their content. And that's what we're looking for. They jump onto the platform, they look at what they're looking for, they just click onto your story, they see it for a couple of seconds, they like it, they don't like it, regardless, they have a decision on where they like to go. Next up, drive traffic. I think that's one of the main factors when it comes to stories. Because of what I've just told you now, that short journey of finding that story, they get to see it. Hopefully, they're going to click on a link or click on your bio that will take them to your product page or take you to your website to learn more about you. So that was quick. We're about 8 minutes into today's session. We've got probably another 7 minutes to go. I haven't seen any questions coming in so far, so feel free to pop it in there. We would love to know if you have any questions or queries. But the benefits when it comes to social media is building that trust, encouraging engagement, staying relevant, being visual, and driving traffic. Once we understand the benefits behind stories, hopefully this will be something that you integrate within your strategy or your planning when it comes to putting yourself out there as a business. You may be posting on social media, at the posts on Facebook or Instagram or whichever platform. How can we now have those posts that are now static and a part of your profile, but how can we enhance that? And one great way to do that before I move on is maybe you've spent so much time creating a post that looks amazing. Maybe it's a photo of your business or a photo of your team in your business, and you've added a really awesome caption, which is going to be that you just opened up or something quite phenomenal. Once you post it, it's posted on your profile. Now your friends and maybe your friends' followers will see that. However, maybe you want to direct people to see that post a lot more. So you create the post, you post it on Instagram or Facebook or whichever platform it is. Then on top of that, create a story and give them something to be inquisitive about. Like, oh, I posted a new post, and cover it up in that story. And then they'll have to go to your profile in order to see what that post is about. And the reason we created the story was to drive traffic to that particular post to hopefully get likes and some engagement. Now, I could go on for days when it comes to the benefits around stories, but stories is about captivating your audience and it coming down to that short attention span. Once we've now understood the benefits, how do we then create a story? I'm going to go straight down to the basics. When it comes to creating a story, I'm going to be focusing primarily on Facebook or Instagram, and it's going to look something like this. You can create a story. I'm going to use the example of drum and flats. Now, within an actual story, there are going to be a lot of things that we can tag and we add things onto this particular post. But think of it as a canvas. Think of it as a blank canvas where you can start adding information that is relevant to what you are posting about. So number one, we have tag partners. If you have any partners that you're working with, shout about it. And if you tag them, they will get a notification that the story is available and drive traffic to it. And maybe they may drive more traffic to your story too. Next one, add music. If I had my way, I would love to have music in the background of this particular live training. But when it comes to a story, we want to find cues of not only visually captivating your audience, but also from an audio point of view. So when you're looking to add music, you've got so many different options. But again, try to keep it relevant and don't overpower the music over the post itself. Next one, use a call to action. CTA, also known as an acronym commonly used within the digital marketing realm or the social media realm, but give them a call to action. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to book now? Do you want them to call now? Do you want them to message you? What do you want them to do? Because you need to tell them what you want to do. Make sure you've got that call to action in almost every single post that you have. It gives your customers something to do rather than be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Not quite sure where to go. So I'm going to keep scrolling. Or I'm going to go to the next story. Give them something to do. Then pin a location. It all comes down to locality. That's what us and many of us thrive on, is up-to-date relevant information. So if you posted that you are in a specific location, maybe you are demonstrating your products at an event and you pin that location, there could be a possibility that the surrounding area will come visit you because they know where it is. Next one, use hashtags relevant to what you are posting. There is a choice when it comes to this hashtags. I wouldn't pop in 5 million hashtags. I personally pop in the hashtags that are relevant to what I'm posting about. And normally that's around 1, could be 3, maximum 5 hashtags. Then you want to share any deals. Why should I watch this further? Why should I click onto this call to action? Maybe the deal is you buy one, you get one free. Whatever that one is, you may get another one free, and that could potentially lead to a sale in the future. So moving on. 2 more minutes or so. We got creating a social media story for SoulCap. We've got share reviews. If any of you have any reviews, shout about it. Make sure you take a screenshot of that, post it in your story. And you don't have to do it once, do it multiple of times to get people to understand how amazing you are. Not only you shouting about it, but you're getting other people shouting about your business, which is going to add credibility and add trust. Next one, receive messages. Creating that two-way conversation is mandatory, should we say, in order to drive those two-way conversations that could build a relationship with your customers. But not only that, it could lead to a sale. Next one, share product information. This normally goes without saying, but what product information do you have? Is there something that we need to know in order to buy your product? Is there something that's happened? Is there a special? Is there an offer? Is there a new product? Is there a refurbished products? The list goes on, but make sure you're sharing about your products and link to your online shop, another CTA, which is a call to action. Finally, but not least, we've got about 1 minute to go. So I'm going to jump into tips for creating social media stories. Have a purpose. Now, I wish I had more time to talk about this, but what is your purpose? If you can think about what your purpose is now, write it down on a piece of paper, because that purpose should be something that you should have in your mind every time you click that post button. Every time you share a story, does it encompass my purpose as a business? Next one, be engaging. There's many ways in which to be engaging. It could be the music. It could be you on camera. It could be things moving around, animations. Be authentic. And again, when it comes to authenticity, speak from your heart. Speak to what you feel as if you would shout out to your customers. Put that into text and pop that into your story, and then be consistent. Consistent in the amount of posts that you have, consistent in the amount of times that you reply to your customers, consistent in terms of the colors, consistent in terms of the font, consistent with everything within your brand. Now, what's wonderful to hear is Tessa has answered all the questions within the chat. So a big thank you to Tessa for answering those questions as we've gone along. So over to you now. What content are you going to share in your next social media story? And if you really wanted to shout about, maybe today you visited the Google Digital Garage with Tessa and Daryl, create a story about it and make sure you hashtag Google Digital Garage. And we look forward to seeing that post. But I'm pretty much done. That is our 50 minutes, a snapshot jumping into how social media stories can enhance your relationship or your two-way conversation with your customers. Love that. Hashtag Google Digital Garage. It's like a big thank you to all of you. Big thank you to Tessa for answering all those questions. But without further ado, look after yourself, look after each other, and I would say bye for now.